Every time I go to show this feature, I'm still awed by the fact that Photoshop can edit videos. And it's been able to do so since PhotoshopCS6, but in the past you needed extended. Well, you still need extended to do the 3D portion, but video editing is built into Photoshop Standard now with CS6. I'm going to start by building a title sequence. And I have some text that's already been created on a layer. And I'll go to my 3D panel and I'll select 3D extrusion to give this text some depth and click Create. Once it's been created, I'll click on any of the characters to alter some of the settings. I'm going to start by choosing the pillow inflate shape. And I do want a little depth back, so I'll type 30 in extrusion depth. You'll see that when we actually go to build the video and rotate the text. I'll click on text color, and I'm actually going to sample a color from the image. So you could try a few different spots until you land on just the shade that you're looking for. I'll click OK. And now I'm ready to build a 3D video of this text spinning in. If I go to my timeline at the bottom of the screen, Photoshop can automatically make a timeline for me so that I can create motion. I'll click Create Video Timeline. It defaults to a 10-second movie, and I'm going to grab from the very end and shorten that to 5 seconds. You'll see when you get to the end these little brackets indicating you can shorten the timeline. And before I start, I'll give this a little bit more room. There currently is no audio, but it's very easy to pull audio into the file. I'll expand the track that Photoshop built for me, and you can see I could make position, opacity, style changes. But what's important to do here is 3D changes. I'm going to change the camera position so the text sort of spins in. So I'm going to go to the end of the timeline because the text is where I want it right now. I will click the stopwatch next to 3D camera position, which puts in a yellow keyframe, indicating this is where I want it to end. I'll drag my playhead, that's the red line that you're seeing there, back to the beginning of the timeline. And before I set up a position, I'll need a keyframe here so I can make a change. So this would be the starting change, and this would be the remembered ending position that I see now. Down in the lower left is your camera widget. The camera basically would be like a person walking around a 3D shape, so you could see all sides, or turn it to any angle you'd like. And if you move this really far, it can do some wacky stuff. So I'm going to make a subtle move. I will click and drag to the left a bit, trying to keep it straight until the text is almost perfectly sideways. I'll let go, and now down in the timeline, I could stretch it down a bit just to see more of my video and hit play. It's rendering a bit as it plays, and just to give you some terminology, FPS is frames per second, so it's not quite playing at real time. The movie will be 5 seconds overall, and I'm very happy with this. So I can stop it at any point, but I'm ready to render a video. I'm going to go to my File menu, Export, and Render Video. And this will actually make an MP4 that you could upload anywhere. So when I choose Render Video, I'll click Select Folder, and I'll go to the video folder in your Assets for Chapter 9. And I'll hit Choose. The default settings here are good. If you want a smaller file size, you could go to medium quality, but you can test it and send it to anywhere. If you're going to upload directly to YouTube, they've got some YouTube presets. If it's going to an Android device, they've got that built in, and even an iPhone or iPod at that size. But I'm just going to choose a medium quality video and leave everything else the same. And I'll click Render. So what it's doing is actually ray tracing, rendering the 3D shape and the spin that I put on it. So when it's finished, I can open in QuickTime or your default video viewing application to see my final movie. And I could save this document as a PSD so I could come back and make edits if I want to, or add an audio track if I want to. It's done. So I will minimize Photoshop, and I'm in my Assets folder and in the Video folder, and now I'll double click on the video and click Play. And there is your finished 5-second video. So this has been hopefully a very simple tour of adding 3D, putting keyframes on a timeline, and creating your own title sequence. I just find this so easy, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do.